What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Real Sports Talk with CLos. Man, yesterday's game was absolutely crazy. I've never seen a game that close before. And I know you guys are probably wondering, man, why is his video not showing right now? Well, that is due to the fact that I lost a bet and I wanted to do a reveal. Not even Wayne has seen this yet.
Yeah,
AJ.
I'm so curious.
So before I reveal what's going on, I'm gonna introduce my brother right here, y'all. Y'all know him from the past videos. We doing something new now. We live, on video. So AJ, this is the man, the myth, the legend right here. My mentor, my brother. What up, bro? All
What
right.
up?
Without further ado, drum roll, please. Oh man, I had to shave everything off besides my mustache.
Dang, Chris Paul.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough.
It's different. It's so different. You look so different.
And I mean, it's growing on me, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing,
Well, you
but
have no choice.
yeah, you're
You
right.
have
I
no
know.
choice.
You're right. You're right.
But I like that you're a man of your word, though. That's good.
Yeah, and I have one more thing I have to do before we get started with the show. Ah, man, this is I never like admitting when I'm wrong. This is and AJ can attest to this. I really, really, really hate it because even when I'm wrong, I know I'm right, but I'm wrong for sure this time. I gotta give roses where roses is due, and that's to Mr. AJ right here. Yeah, Chris Paul, he is a fraud. I think he. All right, hold on. I'm getting all this extra music on ESPN for some reason here. Okay. Anyways, I got to give my roses to where roses is due. To Mr. AJ here. Yeah, Chris Paul, man, he's a fraud, and every State Farm commercial that he's in, it yeah, it should be banned. He should be banned. He should retire. He should you
Uh,
know just become the full time president for the players. And which I don't understand how he's still the president because none of the players mess with him. To quote DeMarcus Cousins, that's why nobody bleeps with your bleep. All right, like come on
well,
now.
they vote. They do vote.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Why are they
not
voting him?
everybody. I'm sure not everybody picked them, but they do vote. That's how those union
A
things.
vast majority had to have picked him though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The vast majority picked them. So for whatever reason, I know from what I know is Chris Paul is actually a smart guy. Um, can't say that about a lot of NBA players, but Chris Paul is very, astute and very solid. Um, from what I've read and from what I've seen. So I'm not surprised he's the president of the Players Union. And I think Braun is number two, right? If
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. So, you
And
know.
rightfully so. Rightfully so. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if LeBron eventually just becomes the guy, just because of who he the type of guy
It,
he is.
it may or may not happen. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't if he didn't become the number one guy there. You feel what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
has a lot of obligations, and Chris Paul has State Farm commercials, so I mean, you can.
Oh man. So actually, I guess we could just jump into last night's game. Um, I know you saw the highlights and stuff like that. The game and stuff. So, well, I want to just jump in. Your thoughts on the overall performance. We'll start with the Suns, and then we'll touch on Milwaukee
Well,
a little later.
I think the biggest I appreciate the roses, by the way. But
I was trying to scoot
you're gonna
past
be
that.
surprised. You're gonna be surprised by my take here. I actually think that Phoenix did a horrible job. Monty Williams is an amazing coach, smart
Yeah.
coach, young coach. He and Chris Paul have a working relationship since when Chris Paul was with the Hornets when they were in New Orleans. Um, and for those that don't know, remember it was the New Orleans Hornets for a minute. Charlotte had left North Carolina. They became the Bobcats. New Orleans had the Hornets. So Chris Paul was there. Monty Williams was an assistant coach there. Um, but I think what the Suns failed at the most is getting DeAndre Ayton involved in this game.
Yeah.
I think that it's a lot of things that have it's a few things with that though. Number one, DeAndre Ayton has to get with KG or Kim Olajuwon or something. You need more. You need a skill set,
Yeah.
and just all that outside shooting that he does from the paint, and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't, but no post moves, no hook shots, no off the backboard, no easy 2-pointers. I don't think there's anybody on that team on Milwaukee that would have been able to, except for Giannis, that would have been able to really get in his way and get in his grill. Not even Brook, because I think DeAndre Ayton has the athleticism to shake Brook off. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
And he can shoot,
um,
which is rare, and you
yeah,
need that in
so
this new league, I guess.
yeah, so I think the Suns really failed at that. The supporting cast did what they could. For the love of God, I can't believe we had a Frank Kaminsky sighting. I completely forgot he was even in the league. Last
Yep.
time I remember Frank Kaminsky was when he was at Wisconsin with him and Sam Decker, and they upset the Kentucky Wildcats. That's as relevant as I remember. Well, that's as relevant as he, is to me. And that was just weird seeing him. I think they did that for size,
Right.
and really, it doesn't matter how much size you have; it's what you do with it.
Yep.
Um, Chris Paul, unfortunately for Chris Paul,
Folded.
the this performance tonight or last night came a little too late because I mean
To,
at the
to
end of
be
the day,
honest, I want to touch on that real quick. You can't beat a star like Giannis and Chris Middleton because officially I believe you need to call him that because of what he did last game. He's a star now. Finally waking up and coming to when we need him the most. Not just the last 5 minutes of the game. Um, Chris Paul, especially Devin Booker, you guys cannot expect to win games when you score only 19 for Devin Booker. For a closeout end game, you cannot only score 19 points. And then I believe Chris only scored 26 to like how you said those 26 came late.
yeah, because to be honest with you, and that's what I was trying to say earlier was that you'll be surprised in me saying this. Chris Paul did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Um, 26 points is a lot from Chris Paul at this juncture in his career. He didn't really get involved offensively, and that's why I think, and I mean getting others involved offensively, and I think that's where their fall was because it's a double-edged sword. If you have Chris Paul taking up the ball, you're gonna have Drew Holiday on him and suffocating him for 3 quarters until he gasses out.
Yep.
You have Booker on the ball. Well, Booker doesn't get everybody involved like that. So now you're taking points away from other players. So it's a double-edged sword. You got to kind of pick your poison. And last night, it would have worked if they still had Chris Paul for the majority of the minutes, really handling and
Yeah.
facilitating. Because guess what? And I know we're going to talk about Milwaukee in a little bit, but they didn't show up like that. Giannis showed up for
Yeah.
Milwaukee. So
And that's what I'm saying.
last night was the perfect time for Booker to really showcase himself. But instead, 19 points from your number one guy, it's not enough. I think Chris Paul, like I said, did exactly what he could do, everything that he was supposed to do. I think that the people around him really folded the most. DeAndre Ayton being one of them, Devin Booker definitely. You gotta the whole thing with Phoenix is that you have a premier scorer in Devin Booker, and maybe
Yeah.
premier might be too strong, but he's definitely a scorer. And you got a big man like Aiton with that size and that length that literally only Giannis could contend with. So
Now, my thing with Aiton is, I wouldn't necessarily say he folded. I would this whole season, even playoff series, with this series and the last ones that they've played in. The reason why he was so heavily impactful in those games was because they got him involved. And I feel like one thing that, to round this out for the Suns is one thing they can take away with it. There's a lot more good than a lot of bad than, the bad that they can focus on. Because one, these are all young cats besides Chris Paul and maybe your Jay Crowder, but it's a young squad with some nice veteran pieces to where like now in the offseason, somebody like Aiden knows he needs to work on demanding the ball more. And I feel like that's something where he was missing in his game, where he doesn't know how to demand
well,
that ball now.
I mean, but even with that, I don't even know how much of that would make a difference. I guess only time would tell.
Yeah.
His skill set is just very limited. So that's what I'm saying is that's where the fold comes in, is because you got to let your teammates know, listen, I'm only good right now at catching lobs and getting it deep into the paint. They stopped utilizing Aiton. The games that they won, Aiton was heavily involved.
Yeah.
Heavily involved. Okay. So, I mean, was he even in double digit rebounds last night? I don't think.
I'll tell you right now. Let's look that up. I don't believe he was. Now, but to your point, to reason why I said what I said though is because the reason why he was so heavily like impactful down in the paint was because you had your Chris Paul and you have your Devin Booker, even down to Crowder and Payne when they were on the floor looking for him. They went away from the game plan and Monty Williams. That's the coach's. What's the coach's name for the Suns?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is a great coach and he works great for that system. But I feel like he relied too much on floor coach Chris Paul, and I believe Chris Paul was in that mindset of I'm trying to take over, and it's just like, bro, you trying to take over instead of taking, bringing the whole team together like he has in the past this season.
Yeah.
It messed with the flow, and then Chris Paul became at some plays he couldn't do anything. One, a lot of testament goes to Drew Holiday, but it's just he wasn't that same guy from the first two games. The flow of it.
It was weird. It's like they put everything into the first two games, and that's the reason why they won, because they put their heart and soul into those first two games. And then what I think happened is that they were blindsided from game 5, because game 5 really decided this series, if you think about it. And it's not just because the Bucks won in 6.
Yeah.
Game 5, they had a monster lead. Okay, this sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yep.
Miami Heat, you know what I mean? Game 6, 2013 finals. The Spurs couldn't come back after that because they had a monster lead at the half. They were unbelievably crisp at the half. Tim Duncan was having a hell of a game at the half. And for whatever reason, really, they did it for 3 quarters because then when the fourth started, that's when Miami Heat turned the switch. That's when LeBron turned the switch on, and LeBron really became good for 7 minutes because he was terrible that entire game. He was good for 7 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Wasn't that no headband LeBron or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. But he was bad the entire game except those first 7 minutes of the fourth quarter where he owed Miami that performance. Yeah. But again, game 5 for Phoenix, that was the demoralizer because you got this huge lead and you just let Milwaukee chip away. And then Milwaukee ended up just completely taking it over in their house.
Yep.
Playoffs are won on the road at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You gotta win on the road, to really have a chance. If you can't get one on the road, you can't give yourself a good chance of winning.
Sure.
Milwaukee got that one on the road, and that's all they needed. And the Suns literally have themselves to blame.
Yep.
Not just because they lost, but because you lose 4 in a row like that. Okay,
Yep.
we're not talking about 2, then 1, then 1, and then no, we're talking about you lost 4 games in a row, 4 in a row. You know what I mean? The 2 I'll give you, they were both in Milwaukee, but the one in Phoenix, that was the game you had to win that game.
Yep.
Because then at least we could say, you know what? Both won on their home court. Phoenix won because they had home court advantage, and we'd be having a conversation right now about home court advantage.
Yep.
Instead, we're having a conversation of how you have a 2-0 lead and you blow it. 4 games. You really blew it. Games 3, 4, 5, and 6. Unbelievable.
So to your quick point, I looked it up here. You're completely right. You can't win a game when Jay Crowder has 13 rebounds and your big man only has 6. That right there is just a big no-no. It's a big no-no.
And that's not a dig at Crowder because Crowder gets rebounds.
Yeah,
does a lot of the dirty work, but
you're the big man.
7 foot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's a
and here's we have to give Crowder his roses because man, he was clutch in the whole series. He was clutch. Even down to those 2 free throws that he made to bring the game a little closer. Before Milwaukee went on that big run. But man, like I this is the Heat side of me. I really wish he could have stayed with us. And there was
he should have stayed.
There was a statement when he was during the game when he was shooting the free throws that he told the reporters that as he was doing negotiations with Miami, he got a text from Devin Booker and Chris Paul that they wanted him in the Suns. So that like I don't want to say it hurt, but it was like, dang. So what does that mean? You didn't when you went in to talk to us about negotiations. Were you really there to talk to us about it?
Or already made up. Yeah,
exactly. So that to me, like I wish stuff like that never really gets
out. I didn't know that story. And you know what? That kind of unfortunately, that's the league we're in now, where players at least that information gets out. I'm not saying that no player has ever done that, has never done it before in the 80s or 90s, but it was less likely. Let's just be honest. It was less likely. People back in the day didn't just and somebody like Jay Crowder, who's like more of a role player, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So it's not like we're talking about like this stud, that left Miami, but he was an integral piece. What Phoenix was missing was toughness.
Yeah,
and that's what they wanted. And that's what they got from Crowder. They got somebody who's scrappy, that does the dirty work, that'll take defensive assignments. But, what Phoenix is missing, they're missing another guy like Jay Crowder. Really, their fix is to get somebody like a Bobby Portis, somebody, that'll do the dirty work, a bigger guy, you know what I'm saying, than Jay Crowder. So, but yeah, that sucks with Jay Crowder. I didn't know that they actually reached out to him. Because
it definitely rubbed me the wrong way, but it was just hard to hear that. When I heard that watching, I was like, wow,
Yeah, that's I didn't know that.
Especially with the season we had with him, we just made it to the finals and all that stuff. It's like, I get, when you get that type of call, you really have to think about it, but you're in something already that's obviously it's working, and you are the big vocal point of it working, and now you're just gonna be like, yo, I'm out. Yeah, that's tough. Well, to transition, let's since you mentioned Bobby Portis, man, he was. Let's talk about the Bucks. He was crazy last night. He actually showed up, and he has been throughout the whole series. Little integral parts where it mattered. But last night, he even after the game was over and Giannis comes over to him, you see Giannis like praising him, like you brought us over that hump, because that, like I said to start off the podcast today, like I have never seen a finals that tight and that close for that long. It was literally each quarter was I really wish every game could be like that. I really do, because it was like you don't know what's gonna happen. Who's gonna be that first team to go on the run? And it was to Milwaukee's credit, it was Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think I can't say enough about Milwaukee. I gave Budenholzer a lot of flack
Ditto. So did I.
because I felt like he wasn't utilizing his team right. And the one adjustment he made after game 2 um, was I'm going to even out Bobby Portis and PJ Tucker's minutes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
PJ Tucker still played more minutes than Bobby Portis in these games, but Bobby Portis literally went from a 5 and 6 minute player to like a 18, 19, 20-minute player. And that to me, I think was the difference in the series, because again, you get somebody like a Bobby Portis who does just all the scrappy work, all the dirt, all the, the rebounds, he doesn't look to score, but he can score. He doesn't look to handle the ball. He literally just wants to do the dirty work. He wants to grab the rebounds. He wants to set the screens. He's a strong guy. He wants to set the screens. He wants to do that stuff. And what made that work out for Milwaukee is now you got PJ Tucker, who is who fouls a lot. He's foul prone. Now you could kind of even them out a little bit. Have both tough guys out there at the same time, or have one come out for the other, whichever. And somebody like Bobby Portis, who's a little bit more disciplined than PJ Tucker, is because he's younger. The older guys, they're not as disciplined on defense because, they're older. These guys start outrunning them and out juking them and everything else. They're going to hand check them and hope not to get called for it. But last night in particular, the story was Giannis. The rest of the team was the other two stars. I'll just focus on them because the rest of the team did what they were supposed to do. But Middleton and Drew Holiday, they made pivotal shots at pivotal moments in the game, which masked their overall performance, which was abysmal compared to game 5. They left it on the floor in game 5. I don't care what anybody says. Drew and Middleton, they left it out.
What's crazy though with those two, with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, they only scored 12 points. So Drew only scored 12, and Chris Middleton only scored 17.
Yeah.
So that game was won yesterday, as you said, by Giannis, because
Giannis.
Tucker, let's show he had a career high of 0 points. Like that's crazy.
Wow.
0.
Wow.
0.
And to Giannis's credit, again, this is why I'm so happy he won. And I touch on it all the time. You've probably seen me tweet about it a bunch of times, but this kid had every chance to tuck tail and run. He had every chance to leave, to join another team, to join a super team. He had every chance to do that. But instead he stayed and he powered through it. He corralled his team and he powered through it. But not only just that, he held his own teammates responsible. Like, let's not forget, remember in Atlanta when Trae Young did that little shimmy before he shot that 3 shot and made it. He's on the bench going off. Like, bro, do y'all see what he's doing? Like, he showed true leadership. Giannis's story for me is by far my favorite out of the last few finals. It would have been the Heat if they won, but out of the finals, was this 2021? So literally for me, in a long time, this is one of the best finals for me to witness a kid who comes from Greece, Nigerian home, and literally worked his way through it, worked through injury, worked through bad season after bad season, and literally won the championship last night on him, not on anybody else. 50 points. My man dropped a 50 piece.
Yeah.
You know, he dropped a 50 piece, and then I was laughing because there was a video circulating of him going to Chick-fil-A and ordering 50-piece nuggets, which I thought was hilarious. But Giannis did not take the easy way out. He stayed, and not only did he stay, he
Him and Chris Middleton, I didn't know that. 8 years together, played
yeah,
for Milwaukee and took
yeah,
them to the championship.
yeah. I mean, and yeah, and to Middleton's point too, or to your point about that too, of Middleton, he deserves credit for the series. Absolutely, absolutely. But him and Drew Holiday, you gotta
Yeah.
give him love for the series. But the closeout game, what separates good from great is elimination type games, whether you're on the receiving end or you're doing the eliminating. Your best player, what are they going to do?
Yep.
And Giannis was the best player on that floor. He's the best player on that team. There's no question he's the Batman, even though they trying to say Middleton's Batman and Giannis is Robin, which I think is stupid.
Yeah, that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
But 50 points, and I think he had like 12 or 13 rebounds. It was something insane. He had like 5. He had defense. That was the other thing too. Both sides of the ball. I talk about that so many times. It's very rare in today's NBA that you got two-way players.
Yep.
Very rare. He did it on both sides of the ball last night. And my
last two games.
Yeah.
And nasty block.
Last 2 games. And this is my final point with Giannis. And I'm sorry, and people are gonna be upset, but sue me. You mean to tell me there's a player who won MVP, then won back-to-back MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. In those years, he lost in the conference finals, right? Or Western Conference Finals. Then he lost in the second round of the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's an NBA champion. He stayed with his team as NBA champion.
You mean Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Eastern Conference Finals. Thank you. And he's an NBA champion. That's Giannis. We have another player.
Here we go. I knew this was coming. I'm waiting for it.
MVP. Lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. Back-to-back MVP. Lost in the second round. Tucked tail and went to Miami.
I wonder who you're talking about.
If I'm Giannis, I'm saying, yo, we not the same, bro. We not the same. I'm not talking about skill set. I'm not talking about overall appeal. I'm not talking about. It's no question LeBron's legacy is solidified. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, all of this stuff. That's all well and good. Mm-hmm. But Giannis did what people told him he shouldn't do, and he got the title. Bron did what everybody else was telling him to do, and he lost the following year in 2011. So I laugh at Bron.
And because of him, too.
And because of him. 8 points in an elimination game. Unacceptable. I'll never forget that. But it's unacceptable to me for Bron fans to throw any venom at Giannis at all. You know, oh, well, this person was injured. That person's injured. Injuries are part of the game. They are a part of the game at the end of the day. We sit here and we bemoan about how Bam and if Bam and Dragic were healthy, we'd have gave the Lakers the business. No question. But injury is part of the game.
Yeah.
Injury is part of the game. It happens.
And to that real quick before you continue, man, like this whole new notion. Okay. But that new notion of the whole, it was a fluke and this is all fake. Like, going to the finals just because it was a bubble season. Look, a finals game is a finals game. I don't care if it's played in freaking Hawaii or if it's played in your backyard. When you're putting everything on the line, how is that considered a fluke, man? Like, get out of this whole cancer culture nonsense, man.
It's just a way for people to discredit, the players that they don't like or discredit the teams that they don't like. Because at the end of the day, I don't know a Miami Heat player that says, oh, well, it was a fluke. because Bam and Dragic weren't healthy. What we say is we just want people to acknowledge if we were healthy, it would not have been,
Yep.
it would have been 7 games, number one, and it would have came down to the wire. And I even say that we would have won.
Oh yeah.
But on top of that, and I get it because LeBron gets a lot of venom. My whole gripe with LeBron has always been uh, in between the lines, basketball. Never outside. People give LeBron venom for what goes on outside of the court. That's why he gets so much hate. And I have to get behind that with him because everything he does outside of the court is, to me, is superb. So that's just me.
Yeah. So from there, that's pretty much wrapped up on finals there. Let's talk about Giannis's legacy, man. Like, do you see Milwaukee moving on and maybe winning another chip, if not two more or many more?
I'm so glad you asked that question because I've really been thinking about that. I really was thinking today, could we see Giannis win another championship? And would it matter? To me, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, it wouldn't matter. Because to me, this championship is impressive. It wouldn't matter if he wins another one or not. Would he win another one or could he? Only if Milwaukee gets better. Because guess what? Everybody else is going to get better. And fortunately, unfortunately, depending on your perspective, whenever a team wins, GMs look at how they can beat that team.
Yep.
Which makes, people like Michael Jordan so special, who three-peated twice. Teams couldn't deal with him 6 different times. But what happens is it's just like when in 2014, I'll forever say the Miami Heat changed the NBA because when the Spurs beat the Miami Heat, team said, "Oh, all I got to do is shoot LeBron out the game." Okay, so let's just get more 3-points, more 3-pointers. Let's draft more 3-pointers, 3-point shooters. The emergence of the Warriors shortly, literally that year, they just shot everybody out the gym. That's what happened. But for Giannis's legacy, I think that this literally, I'm not going to go as far as to say, oh, it solidifies him as an all-time great. I'm not saying that. But one of the greatest players to come through the league, a great player that's come through the league, absolutely. He has a ring, back-to-back MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year. And I think that this ring was far more impressive than rings that I've seen so far in the last probably 2015 Warriors will probably come close because they were completely built through the draft. They didn't have anybody. They literally Draymond, Clay, and Curry were their 3 best players in 2015. And all 3 of them were drafted by the Warriors, built by the Warriors in that farm system. So it's impressive. I think his legacy is literally going to help change the NBA. And I hope we get away from this join my friend in AAU, join my friend in college, Zion Williamson, join my friend in the NBA, LeBron. I really hope we get away from that because you stay, as they say, loyal to the soil. Somebody drafts you, you get yourself involved. Do everything you can to help that team win. And Giannis did it.
Yep. I agree with that, man. A little side note. So is that the rumors that's going around about Zion right now? He wants to go to New York to play with RJ Barrett?
No, I said college because Zion, Cam Reddish, and RJ Barrett, they planned going to Duke, all 3 of them. They planned it before. But remember, it was the whole big TV thing. Zion was set to go to South Carolina. That's what everybody thought he was going, because he's from down there. So everybody thought he was going to South Carolina. When he chose Duke, my jaw literally dropped. I jumped up and celebrated because I'm a Duke fan. But then I was like, why did he choose Duke over Kentucky and over South Carolina? I couldn't believe it. And then the report came out that the 3 of them had conversation because they played with each other in AAU. And they were like, yo, or played against each other in AAU. And they were like, yo, we should all go to the same college.
That's crazy.
And they all ended up going to Duke. So you're seeing that now on the AAU level because remember, Bronny and Zaire.
Wade, yep.
They moved to put them in the same high school. They
That's
moved
crazy.
to put him on the same in the same. So it's starting on the AAU level, the college level, and it's doing that because they see what was going on in the NBA.
Yep.
So that's why for me, Giannis's win for me, I just hope it changes the culture because man, yo, like nobody wants to work hard anymore. Nobody wants to get better anymore. Everybody wants to take the easy way out for whatever reason. I don't care what you say. Oh, it's not enough for me not to have a ring. I get it. You do what's best for your career. I'm not going to blame you for that. But you can't blame me for saying, all right, okay. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I do want to give some roses to Adam Silver yesterday. Man, he's such a cool guy. Seeing him talk, introducing everybody to the trophy and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and he's just, man, spiffy, suited up and stuff like that, man. It's crazy how much change in the little time he's been up, in charge of the league that he's done, the overseas games, the Olympic games, and just with everything, how he's been changing everything.
I think I've been the biggest Adam Silver fan from day one. The way he handled Donald Sterling and that whole situation,
Yep.
to me, made him automatically. I was like, oh, I love this guy. So, and from there on, he had a very progressive campaign in the
Yeah.
NBA. We had things like Family First, recognizing the WNBA, more often. You got NBA players going to WNBA games.
That's
That, that,
amazing.
that wasn't happening like that. Kobe would go because Kobe is a fan.
Yeah.
But even me, I find myself more interested in what's going on in the WNBA because why not? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then of course with the whole Black Lives Matter and the whole no matter what your political affiliation is, which to me it's not a political issue, but supporting a group of people who have been maligned for, as long as we can remember, and to get behind it, I think is great. And then on top of that, the NBA recognizes holidays,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about cultural holidays, which I think is great. I think a lot of those things. The NBA is not black, the NBA is not white, the NBA is not Hispanic. It's so many different cultures in there, just like the world, just like America. America is
Yep.
just one big melting pot. So I agree with you. I love Adam Silver. I really do.
Yeah. It's amazing. Some of the even with having to deal with COVID and the transition, and I know a lot of people have been like, and even some of the players have been complaining about having to play certain things. I mean, man, put yourself in his shoes. Like he's doing the best he can to make everyone at least okay, and not everything's gonna be perfect, but what I love about it that he's actually trying, where it's like he could easily just be like, look, man, you either come play or you ain't gonna get paid. It's that simple. Or he could just be like, I'm shutting it down. He's actually trying, and
And
that
I
to me
forgot it.
is
I
big.
com- I completely forgot about the bubble because I feel like out of every CEO in sports, he handled it the
Oh,
absolute best,
yep.
without question. Without question.
I think they had the lowest cases
They did. They did.
when they played.
Yeah,
That's
they
huge,
did.
man. That's
Close
huge.
to zero. It was literally close to zero because NFL had infections, and MLB, NHL, they all
Even
had
soccer, like yeah, it was crazy, man.
soccer. They all had infections, and Adam Silver literally came up with a game plan that worked.
Yep.
So
And yeah, it's crazy, man. So with that, let's go back a little bit to the fraud himself, Mr. CP3. Let's talk about his legacy because man, one thing I did not like, what I did not like yesterday, I don't know if it's just because I'm just that type of person who, when I lose, I'm gonna take it in the chin, as you can see,
oh yeah,
literally.
yeah.
The way he just walked off the court yesterday and then kind of just left Devin Booker. Like I get it, back to even the Pistons, the bad boys, they did that. But I didn't feel like there was that rivalry. This just felt like a Chris Paul situation that he had an issue and he just walked off. He didn't shake nobody's hand. I get it. It's the finals, emotions are high. But man, you've never been in this spot. Giannis has never been in this spot. This whole you're a big advocate of this whole brotherhood and we're here together. We're here gonna celebrate together, and you don't even spend the time. At least I would have been okay with good. And then if he would have doped it afterward, he literally left Devin Booker like just standing there, cameras on him, and he's like, "Wow, this really just happened." Like you got to see that from Devin Booker, while you see Chris Paul just walking back like willy nilly back to his quarter. So yeah, let's just talk about a little bit about his legacy. Where does this leave him? What is his next moves potentially to be? Whether it's maybe reuniting with the Clippers now that Doc Rivers is not there anymore. They're under new management. To go play with Kawhi if Kawhi decides to stay this season. Or does he go play with his homie that came to see him last game and lost, LeBron James? What are your thoughts on that?
I have two things, and I'll probably say something that's a little blasphemous. I'll save it.
Bring the Stephen A on, bro. I'm ready for it.
First, I'm gonna say, as far as his free agency is concerned, I think he stays with Phoenix. Okay. Monty Williams and him have too good of a relationship, and I think he stays. Now, if he's still dead set on a championship, I mean dead set, and he really believes he cannot do it with Phoenix, then yeah, I see him with Los Angeles, with the Lakers, not the Clippers. I think the Clippers relationship soured, even with Stephen Ballmer, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
The old Microsoft guy. He used to be a Microsoft guy, but I think it soured too much, and I think the damage was done too much. And Chris Paul has said too much. I mean, of course, in the interest of winning, who knows what can be accomplished, but all I know is that Jordan and management, they didn't get along, and Jordan never went back to Chicago. But I think that if Chris Paul really believes, I would say the only reason why Chris Paul joins with the Lakers is because he truly believes he can't do it with the Suns. That's what I believe. But here's my blasphemous statement as far as his legacy is concerned. I think that Chris Paul will go down as just another great player.
So in other words, he's going to be this generation's Charles Barkley.
Pretty much, and that's exactly the player I had in mind when I said that.
I even look like Charles Barkley right now. I didn't mean to distract you, my bad.
I think Chris Paul is just going to be another great player to come through the league. Unfortunately, you could talk about his, all-star caliber career. You could talk about all the assists trophies he has. I think he has some steals trophies under his belt too. A few first teams, second teams. But at the end of the day, as I say it all the time, when it matters the absolute most, he's going to now 3 different championship caliber teams.
Yep.
Okay. You had the Clippers.
He looked lost out there, man. He really
it looked bad.
It was scary, like how lost he looked out there.
But he literally had Clippers with a young Blake, with a young DeAndre Jordan, and with the Doc Rivers, who was coming off of a stint in Boston that was successful, even though he only had 1 championship.
Yeah.
A championship is successful.
And not to mention a veteran, he coming off the bench with Chauncey Billups at the time. Yeah. Like he had the pieces, man. He's had them. He
had the pieces in Houston, who I thought they were going to dethrone Golden State. I was like, well, Chris Paul is not taking no for an answer this time.
My thing with that is, and this is the only thing I'm gonna kind of like not agree with you with is his Houston time, because I feel like his Houston time, he looked like the player we needed in this series, because no matter what, yes, injuries, like you said, he's a part of the game, but and it happened a lot to him. But when he was on the floor, he was taking over the games, whereas James Harden, in that sense, was nowhere to be found. So I blame a lot of James Harden in that team than I do on Chris Paul.
That's fine. I mean, and that's fair, because if James Harden, of course, is your number one guy.
Yeah.
Nobody thought it was going to work between them because I was like, how do you have two ball dominant guards? It's not going to work, which it ended up working. However, I would counter it with, again, it were pivotal times.
Yeah, you're right.
In the playoffs when he was with Houston where he didn't show up. He went to Oklahoma and we saw where really did he have any all-star caliber players on that team? He made a lot of people around him better. So we get it. You're a true point guard. That's just you being a true point guard and a great leader.
Yep.
You go to Phoenix, you get a young Devin Booker, you get a DeAndre Ayton, who's literally still trying to find his identity.
Yep.
And you get to the promised land, but you don't win.
And I didn't see no leadership from him that whole series, like Giannis, how you mentioned earlier, was with his team. He was just like, he would be on the bench sitting next to Devin Booker, like playing with his little towel. Like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Yell at somebody, throw a towel at somebody.
And that could be attributed to the fact where, he was still trying to, reel his emotions in. It could be anything. It could be a bevy of things. But at the end of the day, Chris Paul, to me, as far as his legacy, he's just going to be another great player. He'll make the Hall of Fame because the Basketball Hall of Fame the standard is very low compared to other sports. I'm sorry to say, but it just is. So he'll make the Hall of Fame. But again, he's Barkley, he's Ewing. These guys, he's Reggie Miller. These are guys that, and to me, I feel like their resumes are they had wars in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Chris Paul hasn't had wars in the playoffs. I mean, wars maybe by today's standards. But
the closest I would say for a war for Chris Paul was that the 2 seasons he played against the Warriors.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
because it was back and forth.
Those were battles. Those were absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So for Chris Paul's legacy, just another great player. I don't think he's going to win a ring anytime soon. I think he retires without one. Even if he joins up with the Lakers, I'm not sure the Lakers are going to be as good as people think they're going to be. You give them a chance because of LeBron, but I think that their clock is ticking also. I don't see them.
Well,
people coming back healthy.
Yeah.
People coming back healthy.
To your point with the Lakers, and my last little thought on Chris Paul is, and you could be a little question for you too, like if he does win, let's say towards the end of his career, even if it is a Gary Payton way of winning, which it seems a lot of old heads that's what they're doing now, because if you look at Richard Jefferson, I can't stand him. But he's won rings just coming off the bench. If he does win at least one, do you see potentially his legacy changing for Chris Paul? No, same.
If he wins one with Phoenix, absolutely.
Okay.
Because then it's like, all right, you stayed with a young group. Your leadership, you showed yourself. You went through LeBron, you went through the Warriors, you went through, and then whoever is going to be on the East, you went through the Nets. You went through Milwaukee. But do I see that as as something that will happen? No, I doubt it. But yeah, if he got it done with the Suns, oh, no question. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take back everything I ever said about him. But he's not built that way.
Yeah. So now you mentioned the Lakers. You see, this is probably gonna be a very unpopular to a lot of Lakers fans, which anything that is not named the Lakers winning is unpopular to the Lakers fans. I honestly don't see them making it as far as maybe the second round, if that, because one, I'm putting a lot of it on Anthony Davis, man. Like, he cannot stay healthy. You have a guy like LeBron James. I know LeBron James is a freak of nature. I know that. But it's like,
he's still 36.
Yeah, I get, like, the whole reason he came together with Anthony Davis was so he doesn't have to be the monster that everybody says that he is. You know,
Yeah,
like
he wanted to pass the keys to Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis is not that type of player. He
yeah,
never has been, in my opinion. So I think I think unfortunately for Anthony Davis, when you have those type of injuries as a big man, it's hard. It's
yeah,
hard. Guards that have those type of injuries is a lot easier, but big men it takes a little bit hard. It takes a lot longer for your Achilles and stuff like that. I mean, look at KD for the love of God.
yeah.
It took him almost 2 years, to get back. So,
And that was
yeah,
a rush 2 years.
yeah, and it was a rush 2 years. But and they could credit the bubble, because it feels rushed, but you remember the pandemic really helped.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for
Um,
sure.
but Yeah, I agree. I think that it's supposed to go through Anthony Davis. That's what it's supposed to do. But Anthony Davis is not cut from that cloth.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, now you have to have now going on 37-year-old LeBron James try to be the facilitator, try to do everything, and then your supporting cast. It's just not there for the Lakers. And I think that AD, excuse me, I think AD is, I agree with you, a huge reason why they won't get over that hump.
Honestly, if he gets hurt one more time, if he gets hurt in this season, I think he's gonna have to hang it up, man. Because
It's a thing.
I don't know how much his body and it's not like he's had minor injuries. He's
Yeah,
had
major. Yeah,
big ones, career
yeah,
changing. So
yeah.
if he has one more injury, I think he's like, I'm done. He's gonna be the Grant Hill of the squad of the generation. You know, he's gonna have to turn it up.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right about that one.
So moving over, I'm gonna talk a little bit about because we have to Brooklyn. I want to know your thoughts about Brooklyn. So what we saw this season from Brooklyn, personally, I believe that it's just not gonna work in Brooklyn with those three. I don't see it working. For one, Kyrie flat. The Earth is flat. It is what it is. I feel like there's just so much things going on off the court that it's affecting what's going on the court. You know, you have times where Kyrie's not injured, but he doesn't feel like playing, so he's gonna not play. You have James Harden where he plays all season, regular season, but then when the playoffs come, it's either his pinky, it's either his foot, it's either his arm, it's either his shins are hurting. It's always something when it comes to James Harden, and that was all the way back to Houston, as I said earlier. And then with KD, especially, I think the most stupidest thing, and if that's even a word, but if the craziest thing that I've seen this season is you just coming off of an injury, right? And every shot that you took in that playoff series, every fall that you had, everyone was like, oh, is he gonna get hurt now? Is he gonna get hurt now? To only see you sign up to go to the Olympic team and to be on the Olympic team right now, and I get it, that's an honor, and you know it's an amazing experience. But with your glass shell self, why would you put yourself into that position? You know, to do that. And it's just I want to say, it's so much off court things that I just don't see that team working. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not going to disagree about the off court stuff because I don't care how together your team is. Off court stuff are a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyrie's antics off the court, does affect the team. I don't care what they say. But everything else you said, I kind of am on the fence with because um, with KD, let me address KD first. Remember, yes, I don't think I could classify as KD being made of glass just yet.
Okay.
I don't think I can put him in that category just yet. If he has another injury, like crazy injury, probably. Like AD right now is starting to be that guy, that
Yeah.
glass guy. I don't think KD's there yet. But one of the things with him, his conditioning. He wants to keep his conditioning up. So I understand the Olympics, like keeping your conditioning up, keeping yourself crisp, because you're gonna need it next season because everybody's coming for your neck next season.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
James Harden is literally an enigma. I don't know how to
uh,
judge James Harden. I just look at him and I'm like, you just do what you want to do, and that's it, you know. And Kyrie, to me, Kyrie does the same thing, but to me, Kyrie, I understand that he thinks he's this deep thinker, and he isn't. You know, so at least I know, like, okay, I know where it's coming from Kyrie. He thinks he's so deep and all of that stuff. The earth is flat. You know, I don't feel like playing because, you know, my friend died, you know, and not criticizing your
No,
mental
yeah,
health
of course not.
and all this stuff. I get that.
Yeah.
But, you know, you know, Kyrie, I'll criticize all day. James Harden, I'm just like, you know, whatever. You
I'm
have an
over James
opportunity.
Harden at this point right now.
James Harden, for me, my problem with James Harden actually has to do with the fact that they gave him everything that he wanted.
Key to the
Houston.
city,
They
everything.
gave him the keys to the city. They gave him players. They gave him backup. They gave him superstars. He wanted Chris Paul. He wanted Westbrook. He wanted all these, and they gave him everything he asked for. And then he turned and left, right? And demanded being traded anyway. He didn't leave. He
Yep.
demanded to be traded, you know, bulking up, you know, a little bit, looking like he gained like 10 pounds wearing all them shirts and stuff like that, when really he wasn't that small at all. But you know, but that's my gripe with James Harden. It's like you don't know what you're gonna get with James Harden on a nightly basis anymore. You used to, but you don't know that anymore. But I will say this, in all fairness and defense to Brooklyn, this is now they're going into their second year together.
Yeah.
You know, chemistry, cohesion, all that matters. So if you guys aren't playing together, you're never going to get it. And we've seen that example in LA with the Clippers. You know, they rested all them times in the bubble or
Yeah.
before the bubble, and then look. And then this season, they played a lot more together, but Kawhi got injured. No question, Kawhi doesn't get injured. Probably there would be no Suns in the
Yeah.
finals.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Injuries are part of the game. So Brooklyn, I don't know. Brooklyn is one of those teams I just have to watch them. I just have to watch them play. I just don't. I will agree with you on this. I don't think that they are as lethal as everybody says they are, because to me they're only as good as KD is, and to me
Yeah.
KD is the best player in the league. So they're only going to be as good as he is. And Kyrie, literally, when he wants to be that guy, he could be that guy.
And
But
that's my problem with it.
you don't know what Kyrie you're going to get.
Exactly. And
Right?
that to me is so see the way I see it is this is so called the big three of Brooklyn. You know, we've had our fair shares of big three, us, the Heat, obviously, you know, and just seeing us, you know, even though we didn't win that first season, you know, of getting together, when we were on the court and we were playing ball, that's all that it was about. There was no doubt in anyone's mind that we were going to win championships. Since
Right.
this team has gotten together, it's been like they're the best team in the league right now, but who knows if they're gonna win or not? It's been that feeling of we don't know if they're really gonna win. They have the
On
potential
paper, on
on,
paper,
on paper, yeah,
they're great. On paper, they're great.
exactly.
You have to see what the future holds. So that's why I have to reserve my judgment with
Yeah,
the Nets right now. I have to see more.
right, right. All right, so with that, now that the finals are over, we're at the part where I've been dying. I've been just like, yo, let's get through these playoffs. I'm ready. You know, us Miami Heat, unfortunately, we got ousted out in the first round. I'm ready to see what moves we're making this off season. So let's talk a little bit about free agency and what are some moves that you think are going to be made, some predictions. Um, I'm not sure. I keep on hearing that Luca is a free agent. Any confirmation on that?
Luca,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Um, I don't know unless he's restricted.
I think he is restricted.
I think that's the only way I would see it is because if he was like a free agent, because let me tell you right now, Mark Cuban is no fool. Mark Cuban gonna lock that up. He's gonna rub money in his face and do it, and Luca's gonna take it. I don't see Luca leaving.
You think so? You think he likes what's going on over there?
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving.
Okay.
I don't think he's leaving. I mean, here's the thing: is that Luca's a leader,
Yeah.
just like Giannis. I think he's gonna take on the same type of attitude that Giannis has. I'm gonna stay.
So essentially, you think so that goes back to Giannis's legacy, him winning, and staying with the team that he stayed with. Do you think that's gonna impact a lot of these free
Yeah,
agents?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think it's going to impact not just the free agents, more so I think more so future players
Younger generation.
Like Zion and RJ Barrett, guys that's probably going to come up, Brandon Ingram, guys that's probably going to come up and really solidify John Morant, that's going to
Mm-hmm.
solidify themselves. What's my man? LaMelo Ball,
Yeah.
guys that are solidifying themselves as being franchised, they're going to be franchise players. I think that's more who Giannis sets the tone for. For the older, free agents, maybe, but I just think Luca has that same attitude that Giannis has.
Right. Right. All right. So we're here. We're looking at the list of the free agents. So far we have Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Michael Conley, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Otto Porter Jr., Victor Oladipo, Goran Dragic, Tim Hardaway Jr. Everybody else is, it ain't. It's a lot of role players. Actually, what I am seeing is a lot of key players. Actually, we have Andre Iguodala on there. We have, like I said, Goran Dragic. We have UD's on there, which he'll probably get a little 5 mil deal. Where do you see, at least for the Heat, in our sense, where do you see us moving? Where do you see us? I know there's a lot of talk of Kyle Lowry being a big factor this offseason.
Yeah, I think this is hard. But I had a question real quick. With Chris Paul, he's a free agent?
He's on the list right now. Yeah, he's a free agent. I believe he signed a 1 year deal. If I'm
Well, he
not
couldn't have
mistaken.
signed a deal because he got traded, right, with the Thunder. Is his contract so is it a guaranteed contract or is it like a team option
So,
or a
so
playoff?
with Chris Paul, he had a 4 year deal with Houston, and so
Mm.
when he got traded, so he played 2 years with Houston. That season he played with the Thunder, that was his third year. This was his last year on that contract. So that will make him a free agent this offseason. So this was his last year. Because
Okay.
since they traded, like the contract situation just moved it on over. Which, man, Chris Paul is getting bank. He is getting bank. That's crazy. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, he is a free agent this offseason. So he also, that's what I'm saying, he has potential to, make the Suns better and you stick with the Suns, or you could go play with somebody else.
Yeah. Again, Chris Paul, I'm a little in between with that. I don't think that he leaves. Um, I don't know. But as it regards to the Heat, um,
Yeah, that's
I think
I
I'm
don't
gonna.
know.
Well, no, I'm huffing and puffing because I think I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Um, I think that Pat Riley will move. Um, what's the tallest? What's one of the tallest? What's that mountain called? Mount Everest. I
Yeah.
think I think Pat Riley will move Mount Everest to get Damian Lillard. I think that
Oof.
I think that we
Don't get me
will.
hyped, bro. Please don't
I
do that to
think
me.
that now whether it gets executed or not, I don't know because what's going to end up being the case is what they get in return for Damian. And if I'm the Blazers, I'm not settling for anything less than a hero,
Yeah.
Duncan, first round picks, Precious. I mean, I want the gamut. I want everything. I want everything. Um, whether Damian holds true to his word that I'm not going anywhere is up for debate. But the issue that Miami has is that you trade for Damian Lillard. Now, what do you have left? So Miami's gonna have to do something. Now, here's the thing: is Miami could build through the free agency. They could build through free agency instead.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna see Pat Riley aggressively go at Damian Lillard. I think Miami will end up signing Damian Lillard. I think that they're
Now,
gonna.
Damian Lillard, just for everybody else to know, he's not a free agent, but he is available for trade, obviously.
Yeah, now that's only if it comes out that, hey, you know what, Damian Lillard said, because remember, he's recanted or at least said, no, it's not true. I plan on staying.
Yeah.
But the moment I see that the Blazers are listening to offers, I don't see a team except the Knicks that could offer enough for him. I know everybody talked about the Lakers, but literally the Lakers will have to give up AD. Whether they like it or not, because there's nothing else on the Lakers that's appealing. And remember too, in this league, per the collective bargaining agreement, you cannot trade back-to-back picks.
Yeah.
They traded the world for Anthony Davis. So yeah, my other prediction is too, I think that we'll be tied to the likes of like Lonzo Ball, and Kyle Lowry. I think we will see a Kyle Lowry sighting.
Yeah.
But there's one player that I don't even think, I think I said his name one time and it was about something completely different. I wonder if he's going to be up for trade. If so, I think Miami should do everything to try to get him. And that is Brandon Ingram.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about Brandon Ingram.
I think Brandon Ingram, because the way it's pointing, it looks like Zion is not staying in New Orleans. It looks like Lonzo's not staying in New Orleans. I think Brandon Ingram Heat marriage would be phenomenal.
Well, to your point with Lonzo, there is reports that the front office and his people are not getting along right now. So there is potential for him going elsewhere. There was rumors that he's thinking about going to go play with his brother in Charlotte, but it's still open discussions to a lot of different things.
And I don't know how much. I don't think Jordan does something that crazy, because Jordan understands too. Chemistry means everything, and you got brothers on the. Not like we haven't seen it before. The Morris brothers have done it, but LaMelo, he needs to be an individual. LaMelo does.
Yeah. And do you think any talks for Bradley Beal this offseason or for trading? It's just done, solidified.
I'll put it to you like this. I'm not ruling anybody out for trading right now.
Okay.
It seems like it's a lot of unhappy players. So Bradley Beal would be ideal, but again, money. Everything is money. The money, the contract situations are insane with all these guys. So, and I feel like the only person Pat Riley would be willing to do that for is Damian Lillard. I don't think he would do that for Beal. I just don't. Ingram would be a lot cheaper, a scorer, so I think Ingram would be a lot cheaper, which is why I say somebody like Damian or somebody like Lillard.
Right.
Damian or somebody like Brandon Ingram, my bad.
That's smart. Yeah, because we do have a lot of our big veterans up for grabs. Like Ariza, he only signed that 1 year. He's a free agent this season. We have Iguodala. You think we sign Iguodala back this all season?
I think he's going to be a trade chip. I think all those things like people like Iguodala, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson.
Well, he's a free agent.
Oh, Iggy is a free agent.
Yeah, which I thought he signed a 2-year with us when he came to us.
Yeah, he did. So that's what I thought that might.
Oh, player option.
There we go.
Player option. That makes sense because I remember that on his contract.
Yeah.
His second year is an option.
So, and he'd be crazy not to take that money. Somebody as old as him is going to take that money.
Yeah.
Somebody like Kawhi, who also has a player option, he could opt out if he wanted to because he knows he can get that money elsewhere. Everything I just said is completely bogus if Kawhi opts out. If Kawhi opts out, Miami is
Go
going
after
to
him.
aggressively pursue him, no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether or not we get him, who knows? But it's going to be literally a chess match.
I'll tell you right now. And you can attest to this. I've said this since last year when we saw Pandemic Paul take sighting, that Kawhi, in his own sense, I believe he's fed up because it's always something. And now to mention what Paul George has done this series, even though they didn't win, it was something to look at, something to think about. He did make himself notice. But personally, I'm sticking by with what I said when I was watching those games, that he's the type of player who will put up a useless, and this is very hated opinion of mine, but a useless 40 points to where they will still lose a game. And that's just, to me, I feel like that's the player that Paul George is becoming. And that's what I see personally.
It's so hard to call 40 points useless. Of course, when you lose, yes, because you lost. Depending on what those 40 points look like. If you had 40 points and you had a chance to go to the free throw line and seal the game, yes, useless, absolutely. But
which has happened. That's
happened. That's why I said it that. Yeah. That's why I said it that way, because it happened. So yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't know. Paul George is another enigma.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't been the same since he broke the leg. So
yeah, that's another thing too. That's why I kind of feel bad, but whatever. I don't feel bad. So one thing that I've been thinking a lot about with the Heat is the way that Bam and Jimmy, since they have become our so-called quote-unquote ball handlers, our ball distributors, I feel like for Bam's sense, I'm talking about Bam right now, I feel like it's holding him back from developing into a better player or like an overall player. I feel like I don't want to say it's putting too much on him because he is our guy. He needs to be the one who has everything on him. But at the same time, his emergence as a player, I feel like it's being restricted because he's focusing on other things when he should be just focusing on his game. How do you feel about that when it comes to Bam?
I feel like Bam is one season away from being overrated.
Oof.
I think that Bam, my opinion on Bam has everything to do with what I saw this last season, period. Playoffs. We could crunch numbers and talk about his usage rate going up, whether his defensive or offensive efficiency was up. Numbers clearly up. But I think that, and it's unfortunate, I think the cure to Miami is getting a true point guard. I think we've been saying this forever.
Yep.
Once we get that true point guard, once you get like a Kyle Lowry, I would be shocked if Bam doesn't take a step. If he doesn't take a step with a true point guard, I got to write him off. I got to write him off. So, that's why I said that statement, because I don't see, I know everybody in, the Heat Nation has been doing like what do they call it? Like when you lose, but it's like a moral victory. They're like, well, at least we lost to the champs. Okay, but we got
yeah, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I'm a diehard Miami Heat fan.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Oh, at least we lost to the champs.
Why do you think I'm bald right now? Right, I was rooting for the freaking Suns. All right, get out of here with that.
That's funny. But so Bam to me, I think Bam's issue and Jimmy's issue is that they got the ball too much. Bam can't be a fluid. I think he's a true 4. I don't think he's a 5. I think he's a true 4. He should be catching lobs. He should be taking people off the dribble. I mean, on some Chris Bosh stuff.
Yeah,
that's what he needs to be.
And to your point, he's been training with Chris Bosh too.
Yeah, and he needs to train some more. He needs to train with KG. Yeah. Get some toughness, man. You got to get some. You can jump out the gym, jump better than any of these bigs out here. You can jump out the gym. There's no reason why you should be settling for these little floaters and these little post-up moves, unless it's a post-up move that's going to stick. But Bam, I think his problem is just the aggressiveness, man. Like, be aggressive, man. Nobody can out jump you. You're strong as heck.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know with Jimmy. With Jimmy, what Bam. With Jimmy, um, I think again a true point guard will help
Yeah.
because Jimmy being so ball dominant what worked so much with Philly was the fact that he didn't need the ball all the time.
Yeah.
And they needed him to all he had to focus on was shooting and scoring and cutting and slashing to the hoop and closing games. And I think when his focus is that, he's a much bigger threat to other teams. When he has to be the facilitator, well, now they know, okay, well, as long as we tire Jimmy out, because Jimmy will play 45 minutes.
Yep.
But as long as we tire him out, we take the rest of the team out. And I think that's terrible. So Pat Riley understands this, I know, because if I understand it, I know he does.
Oh, of course. And to your point with Jimmy, he's a very he's one of those players that is great off the ball. Like he's
I like
better
him.
movement.
I like him way better off the ball than
Even on defense, roaming. He's always
yeah.
he wants to pick that ball out or something like that, or even on offense, he's just always he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. I'd rather him be able to move and have even if it's like a veteran like Kyle Lowry. Our team will take such a big step, and then even if we are able to keep a Dragic, if we able to sign him again to come off the bench and let him be a true point guard, I feel like we will make some noise again.
Yep, I agree. And Miami has a longer off season, so they've had a lot of time. I hope everybody around has gotten better, but get ready to be traded.
Yeah.
I think the only person that's untouchable is Jimmy and Bam. I think everybody else is on the table.
Everyone. And you know what? A lot of people are getting slack, or we're giving Miami slack for being like putting Duncan, on the trade talks and even Hero. And it's just like, we gave you your shot. Last year was your shot. We stuck with you. And especially Hero, man, last season, it was tough to watch, man. I felt like last season was his rookie season, and his first season should have been his second season. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how he came out with that.
Yeah, I think that here's my opinion on that, because I've been defending Tyler Hero forever, and even at work, like I'm like, yo, you show me a rookie, or show me a player who got it in year two.
Yeah,
in today's NBA, that got it in year two. Not Devin Booker, okay? Not Giannis. Nobody gets it in year. Now, back then, the talent pool was a lot better. People stayed in college a lot longer.
Yeah.
Now it's not like that. Now you're one and done, okay? So the flack that Tyler Hero receives after 2 seasons to me is unfair. And
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Duncan Robinson is another one who I feel like your expectations are so high because he was lights out in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about like you, Carlos. I mean you and
yeah.
Because again, Duncan Robinson was undrafted. So my expectations are always going to be lowered because of that. You went undrafted and Miami found you. You're not supposed to even be as good as you are.
You ain't supposed to be here right now, yeah.
You're not supposed to be here.
I think the slack for Hero is and a lot of people, you're fast to call the season in the bubble a fraud season, but yet you're basing his whole career, his whole like, oh, he's trash now, to that season in the bubble. You can't have it both ways. You can't. And I agree with you on that.
And the thing is that, Tyler was killing, like, I mean, he was really killing it. What sticks out to me is his game versus Philly in December 2019. So right before the pandemic. That game in December where he made that big shot, he stole it from Embiid. He came down, backed up, shot it in his grill. I was like, yo, this kid got it, bro. I even got a text message apology from somebody from work. He was like, yo, you was right about Tyler Hero. I just want to let you know. I said, I know, because I was saying it at work. I said, yo, Tyler Hero, do not underestimate this kid, because I watched him at high school. He was in Milwaukee. He went to high school in Milwaukee. I'm like, yo, when I was looking up top high school players coming to college, I was like, yo, he would be great at Duke, but he went to Kentucky. So, I've been a Tyler believer for a while now. And even at Kentucky, he was nice, but I knew it was going to translate because Kentucky players translate in the NBA all the time. But I think Tyler Hero deserves a little bit more slack than what he's getting. He's getting a lot of crap after
Yeah.
year two. After year two, but it is kind of his fault because in the bubble he was absolutely sincere.
Yeah. It's a good problem to have in a sense because you see his potential, but you're expecting it every night.
And then let's not forget. Then we find out he's going to be a father. So
Yeah.
you know what? Now I'm a little bit empathetic because now I'm like, dang, okay. Well, I don't understand from a personal perspective, but I can understand how a kid, having a kid come into the world is a distraction.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's like you said, a kid having a kid, literally, because he's still
yeah,
young. He's what,
yeah, he's
20?
young, 20.
20, having a
20.
kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. Well, with that, we're gonna turn the gates a little bit here. We're gonna end it off on I don't know if you saw it yet, but I saw Space Jam, Space Jam 2. We're gonna go ahead and jump on that. We're gonna end it on some Space Jam talk. First of all, I'm gonna talk to everybody for a second. I'm gonna need everybody to just hone in their sentence, sing some Kumbaya with me. This is not supposed to be a freaking Oscar nominee movie. You understand? Like, this is Space Jam. Acting is going to be bad. Okay? This is a kid's movie. All right? Like, all this hate that Space Jam 2 is getting, personally, I had a fun time with it. I thought it was cool. Graphics were awesome. I wish, we have a Looney Tunes movie with those graphics. I think that would be pretty cool. But, the slack, the flack, I know there's a lot of the LeBron haters just to hate, whatever, but it's just like, man, like, you ain't even giving the movie a chance. I want to hear your thoughts on it because I know it's gonna be. I can already just tell by your face. Yep. Yeah. So those of you who are laughing as hard as I'm laughing right now, just go ahead and comment down below and let me know.
I'm just going to say that I kind of was making that face on purpose. That's my poker face because I 100% agree with you.
Wow.
100% agree with you. The acting is supposed to be bad. He's a basketball player. I could not hate on this movie. I couldn't.
Guys,
I couldn't. You're witnessing history. I couldn't hate on
me
the
later
movie.
on editing this video, put the claps and all that stuff going around because I need to hear that.
I could not hate on this movie. Not whether it was good or bad or the acting. What I loved the most out of this movie was that LeBron James has broken his own barriers.
Yep.
And he's doing things that makes him happy. And if making a Space Jam 2 makes him happy, makes his kids happy, so be it. Okay, was it better than the first one? No, not to me.
Yeah,
not because it's LeBron, but just from a story. The first Space Jam meshed storyline, like because they meshed him returning and him getting his groove back by playing with the Looney Tunes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whereas Space Jam 2 was just, a fun movie. Did I think it was the best plot? No.
Yeah.
Did I think it was a great plot? No. Do I even think it was a good plot? No, it was okay. But it was fun. It was meant to be fun. It was more for the kids than anything. And me watching it, I was like, yo, you know what? LeBron, respect. because you have fun doing it. You have
Guys,
fun
I just want
doing
to
it.
come out here and say that is very big for Mr. AJ to give LeBron the respect that he deserves. Like that
Yeah,
is
because I think you're right. I think people that hate on this movie is literally because they hate LeBron. Like I told, that's why I said what I said earlier to set up what I said today. I said what I said just now because what I say earlier in this podcast, I said in between the lines, yo, I'm always against LeBron. In between those lines in on the court. Outside the court, I have no problem with what he does outside the court. And I think this movie was fun. It was it a little hokey? Yeah. Was it a little cheesy? Yeah.
Looney
But
Tunes.
it's Looney Tunes. Yo, I mean, I'm not mad at that movie at all. I think whatever hate it's getting, I wouldn't. This is not even a movie that really deserves. I mean, how many people? I do look at critics and what they say,
Yeah.
but this type of movie, why? Why even waste your time? It's not that type of movie. This wasn't like you said earlier. It wasn't supposed to be Oscar nomination or Golden Globe esque type of movie. It was just supposed to be a fun movie he puts out for his young fans.
Yep.
And I really believe I give mad props and mad respect to LeBron.
This was supposed to be the Shazam movie of Shaq. You
Yeah,
know,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Steel.
just doing his steal. I forgot about that one. But this was just supposed to be something fun. He went out to LA, he moved out to LA to expand his horizons.
Yep.
And I can't be mad at that at all. I just can't. So I actually 100% agree with you with Space Jam.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you see a sequel happening?
I hope not. Just keep it at that. Now you're pushing it. Now you're pushing it.
I had to ask, man. I had to ask.
Now you're
So I guess we could go ahead and wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, man, I just want to know, when is Mr. Porkers from the Space Jam 2 movie going to be in your next album, bro? Because he was spitting bars in that movie.
Yo, he was spitting bars in that movie. You know what I like too? I like how the various NBA players, they had their own like little cameos,
Yeah.
like Dame Time, he controlled time. I thought that was super. I was like, all right, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, Anthony Davis with the brow.
Yeah, with the brows, you know what I mean? I thought it was, I thought it was okay. Just the way people are looking at it, like they're just rotten tomatoes. I'm just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like just relax.
For sure. Well, with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it off, man. AJ, throw in your plugs, man.
Yeah, man. Just follow me, AJ_SMG_. Nothing coming out anytime soon right now. There is things in the works that I am working on. When I get more solidified dates and a better timeline, then I will let you know. I actually found a couple of artists out here who actually found me online and want to work, which is, good and bad because work really, ties me down a little bit. But, for a dream, you would move mountains to make your dreams happen. So,
Amen.
So that's just that. So yeah, just follow me, AJ_SMG_. Yeah, I'm going to be working on putting out more content for sure. That's something I can report for sure. Putting up more content, more music, clips of me playing the piano or in the studio, things like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I appreciate the space as usual.
Of course, man. And guys, so quick update. So as you guys know, in my last video, I did say the Real Talk with CLos podcast Instagram account. So now with that, I kind of changed things up. I do have the Real Talk with CLos YouTube channel. That is where our full length episodes are going to be, to keep posted and up to date of what's happening, what's our next episode going to be. That's where you can follow us on the Instagram page. All the info about that's going to be on there. There's going to be little snippets. There'll probably be, me having a reveal on there just so, you guys can tune in. Definitely go follow that YouTube page. That's where all the videos are going to be. We also are available on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify, all on there. You get to hear it. If you're at work and you're working, trying to zone out and just listen to us talk, there you go. You got that. If you want to see us, our beautiful faces, me looking like The Rock with a mustache, you can just go on YouTube and go on there. But without further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. AJ, man, I appreciate you. Had so much fun, and I cannot wait for this weekend. Stay tuned for Power Raising Kanan, episode 2. I hope we get to see more dogs, in the microwave. I'm excited to see what's to come. But yeah, alrighty, man.